So when it comes to like customers, what do you recommend for people who are trying to spec cams for their build?
I mean, it all boils down to really, RPM band. And when you're talking about turbos, like there's, the size of the turbo makes a huge impact on when it's going to spool and where your RPM band is.
You said turbo though. So you only focus on turbo?
I mean, for the most part, I think 97% of our catalog, maybe 5% of our catalog is all turbo based camshafts.
Okay.
And it's really kind of, it's what's, it's kind of what excites me. I mean, as an individual, like turbo stuff's more fun. I mean, I totally respect NA stuff, and certain platforms are awesome and I'd love to do something, but it's one of those things like if I'm making a part for somebody and I want to put a smile on your face and I'm going to be like, hey, this set of cams is going to be $1,000. And then you're going to have to tune it and install it. And it's going to cost you a few $1,000s to do this. Like, I don't want somebody to be like, man, you made 7 horsepower. Like, awesome. Like, I'm like, what did you do that for? Like, you should have probably gone somewhere else. Like,
yeah.
So that's where I kind of, and I'm not saying all of it works exactly like that, but you're really fighting for every last ounce of power out of a lot of NA stuff. And it really becomes more of a tailored, scenario as far as fitting that cam properly to what you're doing with the car.
Okay.
A lot of people think about cams and like, hey, I want a cam. And it's like, well, what do you do with the car? Oh yeah, street drive, it's daily. I'm like, why do you want a cam then? For the most part, if you're, driving around at sub 3,000 RPMs, is it really necessary? Well, my buddy's got one and that's what I should probably, his car sounds awesome. So you want one so it sounds good. It's like, okay, that's a different animal.
Right.
But when it really boils down to like what's necessary and where a customer is going to, get the most enjoyment out of it, we often ask the question, it's just pretty simple. Like, what are you doing with the car? Like, that's the first thing is what's the goal? Like, oh, I want to go drifting, or I'm drag racing. I want to run a 7-second time slip. I want a 6-second time slip. Like, just depends what their end goal is and how we match it. And a lot of people look at like, oh, I want this much lift and this much duration. And it's like, well, what are you really after? There might be limitations to what a cam can actually do when somebody asks for something custom or special. If they want, oh, I want a 12 millimeter lift cam. And it's like, well, that sounds great. But like, there's no room in the head for a spring that's going to support a 12 mil lift cam. And, the base circle and the diameter of the bucket is so small that like, I can't really put anything in it that's going to have a lot of aggression. So it's like, yeah, you hit a number, but you might be able to get more power out of something that's smaller or better, tailored to your specific setup.
Right. Do you find like a lot of customers or people that when they automatically start talking about like lift that they don't really know too much about how it works? Because that seems like
usually like the biggest tell if somebody has no idea is when they like talk about advertised duration. Like, I want a 280 degree camshaft and like your S3. And I'm like, okay, what for? Like, I want you to get in your car and be like, this is the most badass thing you've ever got. And I think you're going to be like, man, this thing runs like crap at idle. And, I have a small turbo on it and I'm shifting at 5,000 RPMs because you have no need to twist it to 9,000 or 10,000 RPMs.
Right.